No? We use compounding when we have an amount of money that we would like to earn in the future. And we're interested to find out how much will that amount be in the future. Let's say given number of years at a percent at an interest rate. Okay, so what we need are the following. By the way, compounding is also called uh, generating the time value of money. Okay, so what we should have for our data. So the unknown here is the future value. We are given the present value, and this is the formula that we will use. Present value times 1 plus r. This is the interest factor, raised to k. K is the number of years. It's the So if you have, let's say, you have 10,000 pesos. You have 10,000 pesos now. If somebody offers you to lend him your money, okay, and he will give you 10% no interest after 5 years. Okay, so you compute, no? So magkano yun? What will be the future value of your money that you will lend now? O kaya that you will put in a bank, no? Save in a bank at magkano lang 4% interest, no? At at a certain number of years. Okay, so simply, calculate, use compounding to get the future value of your money. Okay, so here is an illustration lifted from the ebook about $1 invested at 10% interest rate. So next year it will become, the future value will be $1.10. And in 2 years' time, it becomes $1.21. How about in 3 years? So to find out the future value of $1 in 3 years at 10 and earning 10%, simply apply this formula. But for my example, for you to compute what is the future value of 10,000 after 5 years at 5% per annum interest per annum compounded. Okay, so if you will get the answer like 12,762, we will say that your 10,000 has grown to 12,762 80 centavos after 5 years, assuming 5% interest rate per annum. So lumaki in 10,000, naging 12,000 after 5 years. Will you be contented with 2,000 plus after 5 years? Hindi kikita ng ganyan sa bangko. Liit lang ng interest nila sa bangko. Okay, then the rule of 72 is one way to determine the number of years or how long it will take for a certain investment to double in value. Halimbawa, your 10,000 pesos, no? So in 10 years, I'm sorry, what is unknown is the number of years, no? For your 10,000 to double, you simply divide 72 by the interest rate, dependent on the interest rate. So simply divide 72 by interest rate. Halimbawa, 10%, so 72 divided by 0.1. 0.1. 7.2, di ba? Tama? 7.2. Okay. Then we have another tool which is called discounting. Discounting is the opposite or the reverse of compounding. Compounding. So in compounding, there is what we call the discount factor. We use the discounting factor, discount factor. But in compounding, we use the interest factor. There's a factor that we use. In discounting, we determine the present value. Compared to compounding, in compounding, we try to determine the future value. But in discounting, we determine the present value. And where do we use it? We use it in buying investments, no, being sold uh, attractive, no, because of their future value. Okay, so when you're offered, no, these investment opportunities, no, promising you a certain amount in the future, you have to compute for the what we call the present value, no? Kasi baka malugi ka, no? Because it could be the present value is lower, no? Than the calculated present value using the discounting formula. Okay. And remember that a dollar is worth more today than it would be worth tomorrow. Halimbawa, somebody sells you a pension fund, no, that promises you 1 million pesos after 10 years, no? So magkano mo siya bibilin? Let's say the offer, sige, bilhin mo siya sa 9,000 pesos. 900,000. Halimbawa, bibenta niya sa'yo 900,000 pesos, no? After 10 years, you can collect your 1 million. Pero yung difference noon is only 100,000, no? Ibig sabihin, your 900,000 now will earn 100,000 pesos in 10 years. Parang ano yan, 10,000 per year. Is it acceptable to you? Oh, well, the decision varies, no, from one person to another. Okay, discounting is the primary factor used in pricing a stream of tomorrow's cash flows. Okay, so in business, you use discounting, no, to get the present values. Okay, so this is the one used, no, to get or to determine the profitability of an investment or investments. So you have to compare, no, in terms of compare these investments in terms of present values. So you have to calculate for the present values and compare which gives you the highest, no, present values. From a business perspective, an asset has no value unless it can produce cash flows in the future. However, you don't stop, no, I mean, you have to compare, no, you really have to analyze, no, whether the cash flows in the future are acceptable in terms of their present values. So you really have to compare, no, among given present values. The value of those future cash flows in today's terms is calculated